Writing ELTS Task 2. Type, problems and solution. Analyze question. This is one of the most crucial parts of answering any ELTS writing question. If you don't take the time to properly think about what the examiner is asking you to do, then it is very difficult to answer the question correctly. We analyze the question by thinking about three things: keywords, micro-keywords, action words. Keywords are the words that tell us what the general topic is. Micro-keywords identify which part of the general topic the examiner wants you to talk about. They often give an opinion, qualify the statement, or talk about a subcategory of the bigger general topic. Action words tell us what the examiner wants us to do. Structure. I advise my students to use a basic 4-paragraph structure with all problem-solution ELTS essays. Your 4 paragraphs should look something like this. Paragraph 1 Introduction. Paragraph 2 Problems. Paragraph 3 Solutions. Paragraph 4 Conclusion. At a sentence level, your structure should look like this: Introduction. Sentence 1 Paraphrase question. Sentence 2 Outline sentence, say what you will discuss in the rest of the essay. Problem. Sentence 3 State problem. Sentence 4 Explain what problem is. Sentence 5 What is the result of this problem. Sentence 6 Example. Solution. Sentence 7 State solution. Sentence 8 Explain how solution will solve problem. Sentence 9 Example. Conclusion. Sentence 10 Summary of main points in paragraphs 2 and 3. Sentence 11 Prediction or recommendation. That's it. 11 sentences that can be used again and again for any problem-solution ELTS essay. Some students have commented that this structure only has one problem and one solution, and they are worried this will not be enough to get to 250 words. In my experiences, one problem and one solution is more than enough to answer the question properly, but if you prefer, feel free to add one more problem or solution. I wouldn't have 2 problems and 2 solutions because this will either lead to you not expanding and explaining your ideas enough or take too much time to write. Problem and solutions sample question. Example. Global warming is one of the biggest threats humans face in the 21st century, and sea levels are continuing to rise at alarming rates. What problems are associated with this, and what are some possible solutions? If we look at this question, we can see that the keywords are global warming. This is our general topic. We are going to write about this, but we cannot write about any problems associated with global warming. If we do this, we have not answered the question properly. We therefore need to look at the micro-keywords. The micro-keywords are humans and sea level rise. So instead of writing just about the huge topic of global warming and any problems associated with that, such as increased storms, extinction of certain animals, erosion of soil, we have to talk about how particularly sea level rises will affect humans. If, for example, we talked about the problems affecting the planet or animals or the atmosphere, we would not be answering the question. The action words are problems and solutions. Our task is therefore to write about that and only that. It does not ask our opinion or about the disadvantages and advantages or about the causes, just the problems and solutions. If we talked about the causes of sea level rise, then we would not be answering the question. The introduction will have 2 sentences, a paraphrase of the question and an outline statement. Paraphrasing is simply saying the sentence again with different words but with the same meaning. We can do this by using synonyms and/or changing the order of the words. Question. Global warming is one of the biggest threats humans face in the 21st century, and sea levels are continuing to rise at alarming rates. Paraphrased. Climate change is among the principal dangers facing people this century, and ocean levels are increasing dramatically. As you can see above, I have used synonyms to change the words of the questions, but it still has the same meaning. The examiner will be looking for your ability to do this in the exam, so it is a good idea to practice this skill. Our outline sentence is next, and this tells the examiner what they are going to read in the rest of the essay. This makes it very clear to the examiner, and makes the rest of the essay much easier to understand. You will therefore gain marks for coherence and cohesion. Our outline sentence should look something like this. This essay will first suggest that the biggest problem caused by this phenomenon is the flooding of homes, and then submit building flood protection as the most viable solution. Our introduction will therefore look like this. It should be noted that this introduction does not contain a thesis statement. This is because this particular question does not ask us for our opinion. However, ELTS problem solution questions sometimes do ask you for your opinion, and you should then include a thesis statement. Our problems paragraph will have this structure. Sentence 1 state problem. Sentence 2 explain what problem is. Sentence 4 what is the result of this problem. Sentence 5 example. State problem. The foremost problem caused by climbing sea levels is the flooding of people's residences. Now that we have stated the problem, we must explain what this is. You should always consider your audience to be someone with no specialist knowledge in this area, and you therefore need to explain what everything means. Don't assume that the ELTS examiner is an educated person and knows what you are talking about. These assumptions will stop you writing what you need. Explain. Millions of people all over the world live in coastal areas, and if the sea rises by even a few feet, they will be inundated with water and lose their property. Now that we have explained what our main point is, we need to explain why this is a problem. First explain the what and then the why. Result. Shelter is one of the most basic of human needs, and widespread flooding would cause millions of people to become homeless, not to mention losing all of their possessions. Now we must give an example of what we are talking about. When we give an example, it should be as specific as possible. An example of a very general example would be, lots of people in the world have experienced floods recently. This is far too general to be considered a good example. Example. The devastation brought about by widespread flooding was clear for all to see during the 2011 tsunami in Japan, in which millions of people were displaced. This example is much more specific. Stating a place and/or a date can help you make your examples more specific. Our second paragraph will look like this. Now we must move on to our solutions. Our solutions paragraph will have this structure. Sentence 1 state solution. Sentence 2 explain how solution will solve problem. Sentence 3 example. State solution. A possible solution to this problem would be to build flood barriers. We now need to explain how our solution will help solve the problem. Again, do not assume that the examiner has any specialist knowledge of this topic, so you need to explain what you mean. Explain solution. Flood defenses, such as dikes, dams and floodgates, could be built along coasts and waterways, thereby stopping the water reaching populated areas. Example. The Netherlands is one of the most populated areas in the world and also one of the most vulnerable to flooding. And they have successfully employed various flood defense systems. Our whole solutions paragraph will look like this. We have now answered the question, and we now just need to sum up what we have said in the conclusion. The conclusion should have no new ideas, but instead should simply list the main points from the previous two paragraphs. You can also use synonyms in this paragraph to avoid repetition. To conclude, stemming the rising tides caused by increasing global temperatures is one of the foremost challenges we face, and it will ultimately lead to many of the world's cities being left underwater. But a possible solution could be to utilize the flood prevention techniques already used by countries like Holland. It is also possible to make a recommendation or prediction. This should only be used if you have time and you are over the word limit already. Prediction. It is predicted that more and more countries will be forced to take such measures to avoid a watery catastrophe. Our whole conclusion will look like this. Thank you for your watching. See you later.